The truth of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. It is yet another Jumla. Just as the India story did not begin on 26th May 2014, as Mr. Narendra Modi would like us to believe, financial inclusion did not begin with the Jan Dhan Yojana. It was a UPA government that sold the idea of financial inclusion. The RBI introduced the Basic Savings Bank Deposit Account, BSBDA. It was also called the No Frills Account or Zero Balance Account. Until May 2014, 25 crore BSBD accounts had been opened, and the average citizen began to enjoy the advantages of modern banking. Simultaneously, the Aadhaar program was rolled out, and 65 crore Aadhaar numbers were issued by May 2014. BSBDA and Aadhaar were historic achievements. They were possible because of the following steps taken earlier to build the financial infrastructure. 2008, National Payments Corporation of India was established. 2009, Universal Identification Authority of India, UIDI, was established. 2010, NPCI launched the Immediate Payment System. 2012, RBI notified the Basic Savings Bank Deposit Account. 2012, NPCI launched the RuPay card. Rural branches of banks were opened and rural banking correspondents were appointed. The following table compares the record of the UPA and the NDA government. Between 2010 to 14, under UPA, we opened 12,748 rural branches, 3,03,504 rural banking correspondents. The total was 3,16,252. In the 4-year period of NDA, they opened only 4,679 branches, roughly 1/3, appointed 1,77,639 banking correspondents, and the total was 1,82,318. The numbers speak for themselves. Under the NDA, the BSBDA scheme was renamed the Jan Dhan Yojana. Instead of pursuing genuine financial inclusion, the NDA government's aim appears to be to break records and grab headlines. When the NDA speaks of the Jan Dhan accounts, it conveniently and deliberately ignores the 25 crore accounts created before 2014. I want to know why. The Jan Dhan self-praise is an elaborate exercise in deception. By December 2016, 24% of the accounts were zero balance accounts. No data is available for the subsequent period. Of the remaining accounts, 15 to 20% have a balance only because bank managers were encouraged to deposit 1 rupee in the account. According to a Ministry of Finance answer, 6.1 crore Jan Dhan accounts, or 1 out of 5, are inactive. According to the World Bank's Global Findex Database 2017, as many as 48% of bank accounts in India are inactive, twice the average of 25% for developing economies. Also, 33% of accounts were opened by persons who already had an account in their names. Despite the boast of Jan Dhan, the credit deposit ratio of the rural population that had reached 67 in March 2014 has declined to 60 in March 2017. The increase in the number of accounts has not translated into greater flow of credit to the rural population. It is now common knowledge that the Jan Dhan accounts were used to launder money after demonetization. A humongous sum of 42,187 crore rupees was deposited in Jan Dhan accounts between 8th November 2016 and 30th December 2016. Initially, the finance minister threatened legal action. Please check his statement of 12th November. But the finance secretary ruled out any investigation on the grounds it would be a time-consuming process. United Bank of India alone had 11,80,000 so-called Jan Dhan accounts with over rupees 1 lakh so-called savings. Jan Dhan accounts are permitted only 4 withdrawals a month, with a 5th withdrawal inviting a penalty. Hitting below the belt of the account holder, banks have, without the consent of the account holder, converted Jan Dhan accounts into regular savings account and are charging exorbitant fees for any failure to maintain a minimum balance. The government has stocked up the life and accident insurance benefits available with a Jan Dhan account, but failed to mention that rupees 30,000 life insurance feature applies only to those who opened a Jan Dhan account between 15th August 2014 and 31st January 2015, a window of about 6 months. This incentive was introduced only to generate record account openings rather than offering a real benefit. Government has failed to disclose how many account holders have got the insurance after an accident or death. Many hapless persons were exploited. Opening a Jan Dhan account was supposed to be free of cost, but 1 in 5 persons had to pay a middleman to open one, according to a September 2017 World Bank research paper. Of those who opened an account, 53% were required to pay a minimum deposit, even though no minimum deposit has been stipulated. Jan Dhan Yojana is another jumla and an exercise in mass deception by Prime Minister Modi and the NDA government. The funds were supposed to be cost-free for struggling banks, but they are required to bear the cost of the accounts. SBI alone has spent 775 crore rupees as on 31st December 2016 for maintaining the accounts. In any event, there are no comparable benefits to the customer. Yes. Yes. I said 42,187 crore rupees were deposited in Jan Dhan accounts between 8th November and 30th December in a period of about 51 days. The finance minister on 12th November, go back and read the newspapers, he said, we will take action. But then the finance secretary then ruled it out, saying it's a time-consuming process. So what happens to this 42,187? Is none of them a money laundering case?
So is there a breakup of the
Number of accounts in which? Well, I can give you, there is a breakup. United Bank of India alone had 11,80,000 accounts with 1 lakh deposits. I said 42,187 crore. Well, average we'll have to get the accounts and divide it. But it's alarming that in a period of 51 days, in Jan Dhan accounts, you will have 42,187 crore deposited. Well, if I deposit my money, I suppose it belongs to me. I hope they're not taking away that money like they're trying to take away money from RBI. New account holders who did not have an account. It is no different from the accounts that were opened prior to May 2014. We called it no frills account, zero balance account. They called it Jan Dhan. I have no complaint on that. But the kind of boast, self-boast you are making on Jan Dhan, I'm trying to show these boasts have no truth at all. If you find that 33% of accounts were opened by persons who already had an account, how is it called a Jan Dhan account? 33% of accounts were opened by people who already had some kind of a bank account. So why do you call it a Jan Dhan account? Well, first is to stop boasting. And second is to treat it as any account opened by a poor person to preserve his savings. not to hit below the belt of the account holder. 4 withdrawals are allowed. For the 5th withdrawal, there is a penalty. Why? And without the consent of the owner, you're converting it into a regular savings account and saying if you don't maintain a minimum balance, I will deduct a certain amount. In fact, a large number of people have lost money because they can't maintain a minimum balance. Several economic parameters which are pointed downward. The economy is in a crisis. And the government itself seems to acknowledge that there is an NBFC crisis. There is a small and medium enterprises crisis. There is a liquidity crisis. There's an NPA crisis. The government itself seems to be hinting at all these crises. I suspect they also have a fiscal deficit crisis. They have a current account deficit crisis. Okay, thank you very much.